Today I'm going to talk about the Zoom H6 handy recorder. It's a mobile audio interface which also can be used like in studio audio interface. So it can serve two purposes. So what is this? Why would you be interested in it, and what would you use it for? One, you would use it to record outstanding audio. So you can record in WAV or MP3 format. The good thing about recording in WAV format is that if you're using the XY input, it's got interchangeable mics, by the way, microphone inputs, or this one, and these are the two that come standard with the kit, and I call this the ball mic. But if you record either one of these, you can also make a backup copy that will record 20 dB lower. So if you do clip, you know, your butt's saved, is what it essentially comes down to, which is a nice feature. Now, if you don't use one of these two interchangeable mic inputs on top of this, then that isn't the case. You better be checking your levels. So how would you check your levels? That's an excellent question. So what we have is we have a colored screen, and on this color screen it shows you your levels, and it shows a lot more, but this view, it's the levels. Shows you which inputs are recording with the light. So right now I've got the left and right going with this, and I could kill it or not. We won't, because we're recording, so we have to have at least one input. This is the record button, so you push and stop this. You push this to stop recording. You push this to, this is a record button, so you push it to stop or start recording. And it's got actual knobs on it. These knobs right here, I turn, so you can physically adjust the gain on your inputs, which is really nice. So we have two XLR and also 1/4 inch plugs here, two XLR and 1/4 inch here, and a mic input. Now they do sell an accessory that I believe allows you to add two extra XLR inputs. So you could theoretically have up to 6 XLR inputs. Now battery life on this is about 20 hours, which is great, outstanding. You have some other key features, but right here on this mic we can adjust this gain, or we can, again, you've got your own gain control on the mic input itself. There's also a shotgun mic option, but I don't have the shotgun mic, and I don't know if I would need it. On the back, you'll be able to find a tripod, standard tripod mount. So you can put it on a tripod, screw it on. If you had a shotgun mount, you point that way, and in the direction of the camera, it would pick up sound. So if you can get just out of frame of your subject speaking, you're in a quiet room, quiet area, you want a shotgun mic, that might be better than using, say, a lav mic setup. What else can you do? Well, now we're getting into on-location filming. So you're doing an interview, you're interviewing somebody. In my case, it would probably be on a heavy civil construction site, and as I want to get testimony or a few words about the project from as many people as I can. So what would I use? I would take this Rode VXLR adapter to 1/8 inch mono, and essentially this is a $10 adapter. It's a $10 adapter, nothing special about it. I've got my receiver here that I could use, and so put this down. Your audio goes into there, into here, and then you could simply plug it in right there. So you'd have your transmitter on your person, the live mic on, and you could be feeding audio directly into here. It also comes with an XY input, which is pretty nice, and it has a windscreen or pop filter for that input. Slides over. I think it's Miguel. I think that's right. If I'm saying his name wrong, maybe he'll forgive me. But it's pretty popular to see these on top, and they're carrying around these audio recorders, and that's what they're carrying around. And it's really good sound using this. Really good sound on the mobile. So you could actually use it in a two-person interview. You're interviewing here, kind of like you're holding a microphone, although it's a bit odd, but it does solve a two audio input problem. So if you buy the Rode Filmmaker receiver and transceiver like we have here, you're only good for one. You'd have to buy a whole nother set of the Rode, and put another, put your lav mic on somebody else, and you would have 4 of these boxes running around instead of 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So it's a nice cheap way to solve that problem. And you can probably also tell that the sound is going left to right because it is stereo. So also I've got a Scarlett condenser mic. Condenser mic. So condenser mics generally need phantom power to operate, and that's okay because the Zoom H6 will give out phantom power. So you simply just go into the menu. We have a Scarlett condenser microphone with pop filter here, XLR input, plugged into input 1 of the Zoom H6, and that's what we were recording this audio on. But it does require phantom power. So the Zoom H6 will supply 12 volts, 24 volts, or 48 volts of phantom power if needed for your condenser microphone. In this case, I'm using 12 volts. I want to use the lowest I can get away with. Much cleaner sound that way. Now, one thing to note, once you start recording, if you've got 4 inputs coming in, or 4 plus the ball mic here, so it'd be 5 inputs, you can't just switch them on and off. I can't just press that and start recording with the ball mic. You have to, when you start your recording session mobily, you have to have all your inputs on. It has a USB 2 port right here. And so you can, on battery power, enable the USB, plug it into your computer, use GarageBand, Logic Pro, whatever it is that you use, and you could simply use it as a standard audio interface that doesn't require a wall outlet, 120 volt or 240 volt power to operate on. You'd run on batteries. So you could plug it up, plug all your inputs in, and then it would just act like a standard audio face that I think most people are used to using in the audio industry, and you could pull all your stuff in without having to worry about, hey, do I got a wall plug in for this, do I got a wall plug in for that? It's powering your condenser mic, or it's bringing in audio from your wireless setup, or use the USB 2 interface located here on the side, and then you could simply plug it into your, say your MacBook Air, use Logic Pro, GarageBand, and use it as a standard interface that doesn't require wall outlet power, so it would run off the battery. So you could bring in, in this case, let's say 4 XLR inputs, or 4 inputs, XLR, 1/4 inch adapter type inputs, and then it would bring it straight into your computer. You could have all your tracks recorded separately. That's what this does. And it's really nice. You wouldn't have to stress out about having power. You just have to stress out to have 4 AA batteries. And that's a no-brainer. What else can we say? It comes standard. The kit I purchased, and I'll put a link below, came standard with a 2 GB SD card, and that's what it takes over here. It's just a standard SD card. Slides in and out, no problem. Has a headphone so you can monitor, listen to what's going on, and it has a line out as well. I also have a remote control for it, but I have not used it, and I've not felt the need to use it. Most of the time, this just sits in a case, plugged in to this, and I do my audio and get great sounding audio. Also, if you want to do in studio, so kind of in a studio here, you want to do recording, you can hear what this sounds like, and I think the audio is quite good. So I probably raved about it enough. Again, easy to use, but, no experience really needed to know what's going on. Very easy to use. Within about 10 minutes, I felt like I was 80% acquainted with the H6 handy recorder, and I have really enjoyed using it, and has made on-site audio recording much improved, much easier, much better. I don't have to have the Filmmaker plugged into the camera and then have my audio tied to video. So when I get into Final Cut, none of that. I've got a nice high quality audio file that I can use straight into Final Cut and not worry about having to keep this video or that video to make sure my audio is on there. So when you get a little more advanced, you probably want to look at the Zoom products. I think the H4n was the the last one that a lot of people use, I believe there was an H5, but the H6 has made a major leap forward in this product category, and I would highly recommend it to anybody looking for a mobile audio interface that could also act as a standard audio interface, especially if you're on a budget.